All right, I love it when we can discuss players that one of us has a particular fondness of, and this next guy has been mentioned on numerous shows we've done so far that had nothing to do with catchers, had nothing to do with Colorado, had nothing to do with anything that would make you think Tom Murphy's name should be mentioned, but yet somehow Ralph has found a way to sneak it in. So I'm hoping that there's more to this than just the fact he's playing his games, or his home games, I should say, at Coors Field, or as you like to say, Coors. Um, I personally have him ranked as my 13th catcher. He's currently going as the 15th catcher. Uh, Nick Hundley's gone, so there's 289 at bats to spread around. Tony Walters is going to take some of those. I don't think he's going to take all of them. Uh, doesn't Murphy strike out too much, though? Now, I know I can tell you right off the bat, I'm going to let you take this one away. I really have nothing more on Murphy other than I do like him. I'm willing to gamble on him. Uh, like I said, 13th catcher on my board, so it's right outside the top 12, which means great second catcher to pick up with a lot of upside. The number I know you're going to throw at me, though, his 48% hard hit percentage would have led the league had he qualified last year. That's how much power this guy potentially has. And he's playing at Coors. But come on, can he do it for a full season?
Yeah, and I think he can. I think what you saw last year in the PCL, he was injured, and once he came back, is you just saw improvements in his game. He's had some issues with strikeouts. Obviously, he showed that last year on the major league level. But there was a vast improvement between 2015 and 2016. He went from a guy that struck out around 30% of the time his first time through AAA to a guy that was around 24% of the time his second time through AAA, and he just destroyed it. While he was there, his numbers were 327, 361, a 647 slugging percentage. By the way, that's even beaten by what his 43 at bat slugging percentage was in the majors at 651. So I think that though he strikes out a lot, maybe it'll be around 28%. You can deal with that because of some of the other stuff that he's giving you, in particularly, huge power, huge hard contact. I think he will see a majority of the at bats for the Rockies. I don't think it will be Walters, who's more of a defensive guy. I think that there's a chance that he sees 350 to 400 at bats. He's definitely somebody you want to own. And what his discounted value really is in comparison to what he could potentially be. I think he could be a top 5 catcher next year, playing his home games in Coors, how hard he hits the ball, the fact that he's made improvements, in his overall game. Does he walk enough? No, I'd like to see him walk a little bit more. There are some contact issues there, but Coors helps a few things. It boosts home run balls, but more than anything else, it boosts batting average on balls in play. That's going to help his average. Who cares about how many times he's striking out if he's got a 265 to 275 average and he hits potentially 25 to 30 home runs if he sees enough at bats. And I really think he's a player that if he sees that enough at bats, he can do that. I would probably put the over under probably on 20 more than I would 25. But I think if he sees enough at bats, his ceiling is 30. We saw what Trevor Story did last year. I didn't expect to see that. I'm much higher on Murphy than I ever was on Story. And I think a part of that is his position. And I think he's part of this influx with Sanchez, Contreras, and some others that are coming up through the minors right now. Over the next 3 years, it's going to be a huge injection in terms of talent and offensive prowess into the catcher position.
So I got two questions for you regarding Murphy, but comment about the
Sure.
Story thing. The Story power outburst started in spring training, which was not in the Rocky Mountain Air. So I would just say that just to say I don't think Story's power, although it doesn't hurt to be a Coors, I don't think that's where that it was completely fueled by Coors, I should say.
No.
Um, Second, there is one big name catcher still out there on the free agent market, especially with Baltimore locking up Wellington Castillo, uh, and the Rockies have shown they are looking to spend some money and still bring some people in. I'm talking about Matt Wieters, of course, and this could very well by the time this airs be irrelevant. But my point being, does Murphy have a full grasp of the Rockies' confidence and trust that he is their everyday guy? And second to that, what my other question was, is he a catcher one in fantasy that you're confident in?
Yeah, but I'm the high guy on him. Me and my podcast mate, Michael Halpern of ImaginaryBrickWall.com, the two of us are huge Murphy fans. He kind of led the Murphy charge. I jumped on the bandwagon with him, and I buy in. He's a guy that I'm going to own everywhere, and here's why: because who cares if you have to drop a catcher? Who cares? I don't draft catchers early enough ever to ever really worry about it. I may reach for Murphy a little bit, but you could probably get him. I mean, you'll probably give me ADP data, but if you can get him in the 15th or 16th round, I'm actually okay with dropping him and adding somebody else. If it doesn't work out, you can add him back. You can cycle catchers. I'm a big believer in what we over in Razzball call Franken catcher, where you kind of just target matchups, who's playing against who, and you just cycle catchers out, through the weeks or over a couple of weeks. And you don't really have a starting catcher any particular time. There's only a handful of them that are actually valuable, and sometimes with the ADP, it's just not worth it. So right. I am confident in him as a catcher one, but there's probably only 5 or 6 guys that I'm confident in as a catcher one that I'd actually be willing to draft. And that number might even be a little bit high. I'm probably going to own Murphy if I have 8 redraft teams. I'll probably own Murphy in 7 places.
Well, he's currently the 15th catcher off the board, so much later than round 15. Ralph is an advocate. I'm a believer, but not as a catcher one. Like I said, I have him ranked just outside of that at 13. So chew on that.